so that one New Year's Eve several years back, I got into a terrible bike accident and went to the emergency room without calling anyone. So far you've seen videos from me in California, Mexico, and now Florida. And I imagine some of you are thinking, what exactly is your angle and what are you trying to accomplish by posting these videos? And so today I just wanted to take a quick moment to explain a little bit about my backstory and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So first, basically, I've been obsessed with travel for my entire life. Now at 40, I haven't traveled as extensively as I would have liked to. And that is in large part due to just going on with the 9-to-5 grind, sometimes the 9-to-5 plus grind. And I imagine that there are some of you that are out there that are in the same boat, that really wish you could quit your job, quit the 9-to-5, just really live life. And by living life, in this case, I mean travel. I have finally come to a place where my priorities have shifted. I've realized that life really is short, and it's made me realize that there are a lot of things that I want to do before I die that require that I prioritize one thing over another. So one of the dreams that has motivated my entire life has been to see the world. But along with that, I've also been motivated by financial security. Not that I really wanted to be rich, but that I wanted to have enough to feel stable and comfortable, whatever enough is. I really took the long view in how I approached building my career. Way back in college, I majored in international affairs and thought that this would put me on a track to secure one of those types of roles that would be stable, would pay me enough, and would send me to different countries all over the world. And that was my idealistic vision for my life, and did make progress with that strategy. So I did end up in organizations that were related to international affairs, and I did do some brief travel overseas with those roles, but it never fulfilled that craving that I had for a full-blown experience of either traveling long-term or living abroad. Long story short, a decade and a half into this career, I had a few brief experiences overseas that were both eye-opening and tantalizing. But when I came back, I found myself writing international policy papers on countries and regions I hadn't visited, and I just felt so close and yet so far from my dream of having these overseas experiences. Another thing that was going on during this period of my life was my work-life balance was getting crazy out of whack. Well, I guess what you could say is my life was out of balance. That I was just really crazy driven in my career. I was really putting all of myself into my work, and ultimately that began to wear on me. And then at the same time, I wasn't dedicating time to cultivating friendships outside of work, and I think all of this contributed to a general state of high anxiety. Yeah, so I fell into this camp of people that have few friends. It made it so that one New Year's Eve several years back, I got into a terrible bike accident. It was at night, and I cut my chin, and you can still see the scar, and got some cuts on my leg, and I was bleeding all over, and I went to the local pharmacy and picked up bandages for myself and stoically took the rental bike back to the dock, went home, kind of got myself cleaned up as best as I could, and went to the emergency room without calling anyone. Eventually, I would, over time, be calling my partner who, we had dated in DC, and then he had moved to California, and I decided to move to California. And it was a radical decision on my part, but I just felt like I had reached a place in my life where I had gone as far as I could on the track that I was on, and that my life overall had become stagnant. I wasn't reaching my dream, and then just more generally, things didn't feel fresh. I felt like intuitively that something needed to change. So as I was feeling stuck, I violated one of modern society's main shibboleths, which is never to move for anybody. Yeah, I was lucky because it actually did work out. We happened to be very compatible, which is nice. My career and what I envisioned for it did take a hit, but ultimately my mental health improved. My anxiety has gone way down. I think as I've put less pressure on myself. But moving to California, it didn't just mean that my dream of traveling the world went away. And so I really just needed to come up with a different strategy. It's getting a little hot here, so I might move into the shade. And my move to California also started a gradual shifting of priorities. In my younger years, I would never have conceived of potentially dropping out of the rat race. I really thought that it would lead to a sense of, well, not a sense of destitution, but real destitution, and also a sense of worthlessness on my part, that I somehow wasn't good enough. But lately I'm seeing more options for a meaningful life, and I know I'm not alone in this. I know seems to be some kind of movement at work. Fast forward, and I'm now here in Florida. My recent work contract has ended, and YouTube has become my passion project, and so that is what I'm doing. I'm still not endlessly traveling the world, but this is a good beginning step. This is Far Off the Mark, where we're all about exploration, near and far. Right now, our geographic focus is on Florida, but we could go anywhere. Depending on interest, we may also tackle the topic of taking a career break midlife and how to prepare for one. If either of these topics would interest you, please like this video and subscribe to make sure you don't miss what's next, and to encourage us to keep going.